Hello everyone. Welcome back. If you're watching this, you or a client might be in a situation that feels like a financial dead end. You have a mortgage, you have equity, but your credit score has taken a hit, maybe due to a missed payment, a default, or just a rough patch in business. Now, you're stuck with a high interest rate or drowning in other debts, and your traditional bank just said no to a refinance. The common myth is that bad credit equals no options. That is false. In the world of finance, bad credit doesn't always mean a closed door. It often just means a different door. Today, we're going to teach a masterclass on distressed refinancing. We're going to move beyond the basics and analyze the mechanics of how professional investors and brokers structure a refinance deal when the credit score is in the red zone. We will look at the math, the specific types of lenders, and real-world case studies of how this is done. Grab your notebooks. Let's dive in. First, we need to diagnose the patient. When a bank rejects a refinance, they usually cite credit risk. But what does that actually mean? In the lending industry, we categorize borrowers into 3 tiers. You need to know which tier you are in. Tier 1 is prime. These are the major banks. They want a clean history, high credit score, and stable income. If you have a default or a court judgment, you're likely locked out of this tier. Tier 2 is near prime. This is for borrowers who miss the perfect score by a few points. Maybe you have one late payment on a phone bill, or you're self-employed with fluctuating income. Tier 3 is specialist or non-conforming. This is our focus today. These lenders specifically design products for people with bad credit. They don't look just at the score. They look at the story and the equity. The most critical concept you need to learn today is LVR, loan to value ratio. If you have bad credit, equity is king. Traditional banks lend based on your credit score. Specialist lenders lend based on your security, your house. Generally, if your LVR is under 80%, meaning you own at least 20% of your home's value, you have a lifeline. If you have bad credit and no equity, an LVR of 95%, refinancing is almost impossible. Equity is the collateral that offsets the risk of your bad credit. Why would you refinance if you have bad credit? Usually, the new interest rate will be higher than a standard mortgage, maybe 1% to 2% higher. So why do it? The answer is debt consolidation. Let's look at the math. This is the most common strategy used to save a sinking financial ship. When you have bad credit, you often also have bad debt, high-interest personal loans, or credit cards. Imagine you have a $500,000 mortgage at 6%. But you also have $50,000 in credit card debt at 20%. Your blended rate, the average interest you're paying on all that money, is incredibly high, and your cash flow is bleeding out every month. A bad credit refinance might offer you a mortgage at 7.5%. On paper, that looks worse than your original 6% mortgage. But it allows you to roll that $50,000 credit card debt into the home loan. Now, instead of paying 20% on your credit cards, you are paying 7.5% on everything. The monthly savings can be massive. Theory is fine, but let's look at how this works in the real world. I have pulled 2 anonymized case studies based on real market data to show you the difference between success and failure. Case study 1, the cleanup, the success story. Meet Melissa. She's an accountant who owns a home worth $1.3 million. She had a mortgage of $700,000. However, she took out 7 small unsecured loans for renovations and fell behind. Her credit file showed missed payments. The big banks rejected her refinance application immediately. The solution: Melissa went to a non-conforming lender, a specialist brand like Pepper Money or Liberty Financial, common in markets like Australia and the UK. Because she had significant equity, her LVR was only about 54%. The lender felt safe. They approved a refinance that paid off her original mortgage and the $30,000 in high-interest loans. She consolidated everything into one monthly payment. Even though her new rate was slightly higher than a prime rate, her total monthly outgoing cash dropped by hundreds of dollars because she wiped out the high-interest short-term debt. This is a classic win. Case study 2, the exit strategy, the 2-step move. This is the advanced class, so pay attention. A bad credit refinance should rarely be a forever loan. We call it a bridge strategy. Let's say you had a business failure and defaulted on a loan. Your credit score is tanked. You refinance to a specialist lender at 8% interest. That is expensive. You don't want to pay 8% for 30 years. You take this loan for 2 years. Why? Because specialist lenders report your perfect payment history to the credit bureaus. By paying this higher rate mortgage perfectly for 24 months, you're actively repairing your credit score. Once your score heals and the default ages off your file, you refinance again, this time back to a Tier 1 major bank at a lower rate. You pay a premium for a few years to buy back your reputation. That is the cost of doing business. Now, I have to be the responsible teacher. This process is full of landmines. Here is what you must watch out for. 1. The loyalty tax of bad credit. Specialist lenders charge higher fees. You might see risk fees or higher application fees. You need to calculate the total cost of switching. If it costs you $5,000 in fees to save $100 a month, the break-even point is 4 years. Is it worth it? 2. Borrowing power reduction. When interest rates are higher, your borrowing power drops. A bank might lend you $600,000 at 6%, but a specialist lender might only lend you $500,000 at 8% because the higher payments eat into your income. 3. The trap of extended terms. Be careful not to turn a short-term debt into a long-term burden. If you put a $20,000 car loan, usually a 5-year term, into your house mortgage, a 30-year term, you'll pay that car off for 30 years. You might end up paying for that car 3 times over in interest. If you consolidate short-term debt, try to make extra repayments to pay that portion off quickly. If you're ready to execute this strategy, here is your step-by-step roadmap. Step 1. Get the rap sheet. Download your full credit report from a major bureau like Equifax or Experian. Do not guess. You need to see exactly what the lender sees. Are there defaults? Are there court judgments? Sometimes there are errors you can fix before applying. Step 2. Calculate your LVR. Be realistic about your home's value. Check recent sales in your area. If you owe $400,000 and your home is worth $500,000, your LVR is 80%. That is the sweet spot. If your LVR is 90% or higher, this strategy will be very difficult without a guarantor. Step 3. Find a specialist broker. Do not walk into a regular bank branch. They will likely just say no and leave a hard inquiry on your credit file, which hurts your score further. You need a mortgage broker who specializes in impaired credit or non-conforming loans. They have access to lenders that don't advertise on TV. Step 4. Prepare the exit strategy. Before you sign, ask yourself, how do I get out of this loan? Set a goal. I will pay this for 24 months, fix my credit, and refinance in 2028. Write that date down. Conclusion. Refinancing with bad credit is not about admitting defeat. It is a strategic financial maneuver. It's about using the equity you have built to buy yourself time and stability. It requires swallowing a slightly higher interest rate today to secure your financial freedom tomorrow. Remember, your credit score is a snapshot of your past, but your equity is the fuel for your future. Use it wisely. Thanks for listening. I'll see you next time.